Welcome to a short version of Impact. This was a very strange show, ladies and gentlemen. They're back from the UK tour, about to say core, and excuse me, still have throat problems. They're back from their tour. We wonder how far they're going to go with the new network and what they've been doing. I don't know what this show really represented. Let's look at Magnus and Bram in the Falls Count Anywhere match. Great match. I enjoyed it. I love seeing my Mickie Jane. I still hate Magnus for marrying her and making her pop out a baby. Something that most men would love to do for her. But I still love me my Mickie Jane. And I do still think Magnus is an incredibly viable talent that will go somewhere as long as TNA pushed him properly. But now it gets a little confusing when it involves James Storm. And when you see the segment before this match, I believe, James Storm with his revolution at the shed where he converted them, and now we have the Ghost Asylum dealing with it. You would think, well, you got to make sure James Storm acts crazy, evil, monstrous, sadistic, but then he tries to save Mickie Jane. Now, you could say that this is trying to lull Magnus into a sense of security. A false sense of security, my mistake. Or he's trying to recruit Bram into the evolution and force him to fight him so he will be forced to be taken away and then go to the woodshed himself, get his ass smacked up, and join the revolution. I don't know. I'm not sure if this makes any sense. Really. Unless Mickie Jane is going to be involved in this, which I'll give it to you and I'll paint you a little picture here. Mickie Jane was saved by James Storm. Next week when they do their live event, Mickie Jane goes to James Storm, or James Storm goes to Mickie Jane, or Magnus for that matter, talks to Storm and says, thank you for what you did. We don't really feel we want to thank you. And then Storm turns his back on them, fucks them over, and does something to Mickie Jane. This would be the perfect thing to do to a Magnus. Fuck him over by either messing with his wife, or fuck him over when Storm is acting nice and Bram comes out of nowhere and fucks over Magnus as well. I would rather see Storm directly deal with Magnus because he's already dealt with Bram for quite a while. The next person for Magnus to face as a father and a future husband to a Mickie Jane should be Storm. That's the best person, but if they continue dealing with Bram, it's going to lose steam. Now, another thing that seemed to be different, but not out of place, is when they did their matches. Instead of using the actual images of the actual wrestlers, they had a, I don't know what the, illustrator, that's the name of them. An illustrator draw the people who are going to do the matches. That was excellent. Now, if no one else likes this, I'm going to say it now. I felt it was so refreshing. Something entirely different. The WWE should take a little bite of this, because this is something that's really different. I hope they do this periodically or all the time. I would love to see that the wrestlers being drawn in a caricature and that they'll be taken in that respect. If no one else liked it, I felt that was an excellent change. But unfortunately, TNA has not changed completely. Excuse me. They have not changed completely because their events are still too damn dark. TNA, learn from your freaking mistakes. You need more lighting to show everyone in the audience. We need to have that feeling. The UK tour was more brighter, more vibrant. You can't tell me that that stadium wasn't that empty. There was people in there. Come on. And then you have a very strange match here. Gail Kim versus Gail Kim versus Angelina Love. You can see him a little off. My throat is really hurting and I'm having a problem focusing. I'm sorry. But here's the problem with Angelina Love and Gail Kim. I've seen it before. It wasn't a bad match. I heard people say basically better than WrestleMania 31. I heard at least one person say it. Now, I will say that their wrestling was a little better than the women that was in Wrestle 31. It was. But why couldn't it have been somebody else with them? Where is Brooke? What happened to the Awesome Kong? Come on. You're telling me Havoc's not back yet. I don't know what's the situation with Havoc, if she's coming back to the company. I hope she is. I'm hoping she's alright after her father's death. I'm really hoping he'll come back because we really need her. But you're telling me there couldn't be someone to come in and do a swerve or something. I would have liked to see Brooke come out and beat the shit out of these women because there's nothing here. Really. Good match, but I needed more. And now another match that felt, what now? Eli versus Robert Roode, and that one was a submission match. Supposedly now it's over, particularly that Eli cheated and he now won that match. But does it mean it's over? Here's the problem. There was no one else on the show. I know they were trying to clean up rivalries that were from last year. That I understand. But under this situation, you need a little bit more. Because look what happened with the Wolves. Eddie Edwards fractured his heel. He is out, maybe between 6 to 8 months. The way they showed his CAT scan, that sucker was cracked right down the middle. Here's his heel. That sucker got a crack as deep as hell, the Grand Canyon. He's going to be out for at least 6 to 8 months before he's healed. He's out for a while. He shattered that sucker. So, we're going to have no Wolves. But why couldn't have been somebody there? Davey Richards really needed something extra. Because even though he did speak eloquently, and so did Eddie Edwards, they needed something extra. Why couldn't somebody come out? You needed something more. This is where a problem is when you don't have a GM. One of these screwy little problems where when somebody actually gets hurt, you really do need a GM to kind of progress something. At least that's what I believe. I still love there's no GM. It's just the wrestlers, just the refs, and just let them go at it. And I believe it's a better system. But once in a while, you need somebody from authority to come out and kind of clean this mess up. Once in a very long while. And in this case, I really believe they needed somebody from maybe the board of directors to come out. I don't think you needed Dixie Carter. Just someone from the board just to come and say that because the Wolves cannot do this, they must relinquish their titles and we will have a gauntlet match or whatever. A tournament, a gauntlet match, whatever. I think they were kind of caught off guard with this. I think that's one of the reasons why there was nothing there. Finally, the match of the night. Which, I mean, it was a good match of the night. It was good. But, the last match of the night, I think that's the best way to say it. My throat is really hurting. I'm sorry. But, Angle versus Lashley 2. And it still had a big build feel to it. To a certain extent. But now, what? You're going to say now that they have to have a Lashley Angle 3 due to the fact that the ref messed up the call? I'm not too fond of this. Because you're overexposing Lashley. You're overexposing Angle. And they need to split them off and do something else for either one of them. Having him do a third one, I don't think is the wisest thing to do. Unless someone's going to come in that you would not expect to deal with either one of them. Maybe like a Drew Galloway. But he's going to be dealing with the Beatdown Clan. And I really believe that we got a problem here. And even though it was a great match, I think Magnus and Bram was a little bit better than Angle and Lashley. Told a much more better story because you had Storm in it, even though it made not much sense. And you have the Mickey Jane, who looks so damn beautiful. Oh my goodness, I wish she had a sister. She looks gorgeous. And I think her breasts are bigger too. She's probably still breastfeeding. Sorry, I don't mean to go to breasts. That's not nice. But you get my point, ladies and gentlemen. She's gorgeous. But here's the thing. we come back from the UK tour that had a very good focus in many ways to the American regular tour where they kind of feel like they're a little off and not sure which direction to go. They didn't really give us enough detail here to give us an idea what is their agenda for the next couple of months. Now, mind you, Eddie Edwards breaking his heel, that was out of nowhere. And I can understand to a certain extent they really don't have anything in place for that. Since they don't have a GM, there's no way they can just set something up. This is all the wrestlers and the refs. But everything else just feels like it's just left wide open, and you do sometimes need a little bit of guidance to make sure that when the fans watch this, or new coming fans watch this product, they have an idea what could be going to happen. And I just don't feel like they left enough in the show to give us something. Look at Rockstar Spud. He wasn't even on the show. And I believe he should have been there. What happened to Terrence Terrell? I understand that she went and did a movie, but she couldn't do an appearance, even on the Titantron, something. They could have done that. I just feel like it was a little too open-ended, even though it was still a solid show. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. My video on why Daniel Bryan is screwed is next. And I'm very sorry that it didn't come out in the last couple of days. I have been kind of sick. And my throat is still not right. This weather is screwing with me. So I hope you have some patience with me. And you have a good day and have a good night. Peace!